Okay. Let's start with, are there any questions over the quiz or the test? We could go over 19 on the quiz. That would be just fine. Gotta go back to that page. There it is. Number 19 on the quiz was x squared minus 144. So my question is, what is this? You're right on the edge.
It's a perfect square.
Yeah, that's the same thing he said. You're also right on the edge. It's a difference of two perfect squares, right? So to factor a difference to two squares, that's the easiest thing ever if you know how to do it, right? Two sets parentheses. Easy peasy. First lot, square root of the first term. What's the square root of x squared? X. Second slot, square root of the second term. What's the square root of 144? 12. And then for our signs, it's plus and minus. If you know how to do it, it's easy. But if you don't remember how to do it, it's not so easy. What other questions on the quiz or the test? I'd be happy to. Number 6 on the test. True enough. Okay. Number 6 on the test is 18a squared b squared plus 30 a to the 4th b. All right. So, what is this? A mess, I agree.
Trinomial.
So it's not a trinomial, right? So how many terms would it have to be in order to be a trinomial? 3. So it's actually a binomial, but it's not a difference of two squares. It's not a difference of cubes. It's not a sum of cubes, which y'all probably don't even know how to factor a difference or sum of cubes yet. You will this year, right? Easy peasy. So it's nothing. It's a mess, and we're expected to factor it. Oh no. Now there's one more thing that we haven't said. One more or factorable idea that we haven't brought to the front. That is a greatest common factor. So we can look for what is in common as we look at this guy, right? In fact, we pretty much always want to look for a greatest common factor first, right? Because a lot of times, even if it's trinomial or something, it makes our life easier if we look for a greatest common factor. Right? We were just talking about that just the other day. So let's see if there's anything in common. Is there anything that goes into both 18 and 30? 6 goes into 18 and 30, so we can pull the 6 out. Is there any letters that are in common between the two?
A squared and b.
There is an a squared, at least an a squared in both, is an a to the 4th, which has a squared times a squared in it, right? So there's an a squared, and there's at least one b, right? We can pull all of that out. And that's everything that's in common. So once we do that, we write down what's left. So when I take a 6a squared b out of the first term, what's left? 3b. When I take a 6a squared b out of the second term, what is left?
5a squared.
5a squared. And there it is. Any other questions from the quiz or the test?
Can we go over 9 on the test?
9 on the test. Yes, we can. Yes, we can. All right. It's another difference of squares, but a scarier one, right? Nine from the test was 81h squared minus 121. It's difference of squares. What was the first step of difference of squares? That's the easy step that you should be able to get, right? What is that step? 2 parentheses. Easy money. You ought to at least get a point for writing that, right? Easy peasy lemon squeezy. And then the first lot, we do the square root of the first one. What's the square root of 81? 9. What's the square root of h squared? H. 9h and 9h. And the square root of the second one in the second slot? 11. And then plus and minus. What other questions from either the quiz or the test?
Can you go over 3 on the test?
Sure. Three on the test. All kinds of dots happening. Trying to decide whether I want to take a picture of it and put it on the screen or whether I want to try to draw it. I guess in the time it takes me to pull it up, I probably could have drawn it already. So let's draw it. If the TV were faster at figuring out its life choices, then that would be a better way. But once we get to like some legit graphing stuff, laters, then I probably will do it that way. But okay, so we got a bunch of dots. We got one at, what was that, -6, -6? No, -6, +6, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Great. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Positive 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 is where that point is. There's another one at -3, 2. 1, 2, 3, 2. There's another one down here at -1, -1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. And then there's one at 1, 0. And there's one at 1, 2, 3, 2, 3, 2. There's one at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 3, 4, 5, 6. -3, 4, 5. And we are asked to state the domain and range of the following and decide whether it's a function or not. We decide whether it's a function or not just by looking at it. What are we looking for when we look at it? We're deciding whether it's a function or not. Yeah. So vertical line test, not y-axis. The same, yeah, vertical line test, right? I don't fail that. Never touching twice. Right? It's a function. Easy peasy. That part. What is domain? What do it mean? Yeah, it's what x can be. It's the set of all independent variables, independent quantities. So we list all the x's in order in set notation. So what are they? That's negative.
-6.
Negative 6.
-3. 3. Or no, -1.
Negative 3, negative 1,
1.
1,
6.
and 3, and 6. What is range?
Y.
Yeah. Set of all possible dependent quantities. Outputs, all the y's. So starting and doing it in order,
It's -5.
negative 4, 0, 2, and 6. How many times was 2 listed?
Twice.
No, it was on there twice, but when we list the range, we just list it once. We just list the possible ones, right? We don't duplicate. What other questions from either the quiz or the test? Since this is giving back your first test, I should tell you, in case you want to, or otherwise want to know how to do corrections on a test. You can turn in corrections on a test. I'm going to explain this with my mouth, so if you want, and it's also on recording, so don't come back and be like, but you said. No, I didn't. I promise I didn't. Okay, so this is the way test corrections work. Are you paying attention? If you want to write this down, you can write it down. It's totally fine. You don't have to. I'm not going to make you. But if you want to, you can. Okay, you have to turn them in on a separate piece of paper. You have to correct all the ones that you miss, every single one of them. You have to write the question along with your work. You have to show all of your work. It has to be correct. It has to be complete. It has to be completely correct. One of two things will happen when you turn those corrections in to me. One of two possibilities. Either it will be flawless, and I will write 100 on it. And that doesn't mean your grade on the quiz is the test. The test is now 100. I take that 100 and it gets averaged with the test. Goes into 2 separate grades. Goes in as another thing. So if you have a 50, your grade is now a 75, basically, for that test, or et cetera. Which makes it mathematically, the higher your grade on the test, the less points you end up bringing back, just because math. That's how that works. So if you make a 99, don't turn in corrections. That's annoying. Okay? Or, if it is not flawless, I will have probably marked at least one thing. I don't even always mark all the things. And sometimes there's an error and I mark it and then I write fix at the top of it and I move on with my life. There might be more errors. So either it'll say 100 on it or it'll say fix on it. If it says fix on it, what should you do? Fix it. And then you give it back. And then we keep doing that little dance as long as it takes until it says 100 on it. Does that make sense? The point of corrections, by the way, is so that you can learn and understand the things that you didn't before. So if you want to use photo math or something else to help you with it, fine. But if you just do that and you copy it down, that didn't help you, you're probably going to fail later. So if you want to stop failing and start learning and winning and not have to live in the gutter when you get older, it's a joke. Don't have to be so serious. Calm down. Then use the tools to help you, not to do the work for you. Make sense? Grand, glorious.
Your gutters aren't that bad, actually.
Yeah, you think, but we do get freezing temperatures. It does happen. We get precipitation. We get floods. Although we have built y'all don't even know. Lubbock used to, if we would have had the rain like we had these last few days, these people would have been underwater. Lubbock, when I was a child, there were flipping rivers running down the streets. I lived in a flood zone. Our steps were this tall. Lubbock used to flood like nobody's business. Y'all know where Trinity Church is? Whether you know anything about it. You know where Trinity Church is? That's where I went to church. That parking lot became a literal lake. In fact, one day they did a promo Sunday whatever video where one of the pastors was in the parking lot in a canoe.
Marsha Sharp used to flood pretty bad because the tech stadium drained into there.
Yes, that was even after. So what they did to fix it, by the way, the reason why y'all don't know what I'm talking about, I've never actually seen that, is because they took all of the playa lakes, all of them in Lubbock, and they connected them. But big old giant culverts are connected. Those big things that you're always like, what the heck is that at the side of a playa lake? Those big old things with the slots in them. That's what those are. They connect to other playa lakes and other drainage places. And so Lubbock does still flood, but not as bad. Now, if we ever get 100-year rain, something that is biblical in proportion, crazy, then all of Lubbock will drown. Yay, because everything's connected. Let's do some more math, shall we? Let's move on to today's work. Expressions and formulae. From page 7. We're out of the P pages. Page 7, number 2 is 32. Number 4 is 2.6. Number 6 is 4.16. Number 8 is 6.25. Number 10A is about 0.314 or 31.4%. 10B is 0.48 or 48%. 12 is negative 9.7. 14 is 39.6. 16 is 10 and 7/15. Number 18 is negative 1. 20 is 33 1/3. 22 is 0.25. 24A is 17.8 degrees Celsius to 22.8 degrees Celsius. 24B is yes, and your explanation could have been something like 98.6 degrees Fahrenheit equals 37 degrees Celsius, so a temperature above 37 degrees Celsius indicates a fever. Something like that. It could have been abbreviated and whatever else, but that would have been something like your explanation. What questions do we have? Oh, just kidding. There's one more. Hold on. And then yes, we can do whatever you're about to say. Hey, number 26 is $48.83.
Let's go. Could you round up? What was?
Business made. Profit and business made during the year is that if the business divides profits evenly into shares. It probably wouldn't be awful if you did.
What was the answer for 22 again?
22 was 0.25.
Okay. I wrote that in a fraction.
That's fine. In fact, that would arguably be a better answer because it gives you, well, actually either one, because it gives you decimals and fractions. So, 6 and 1/2 dozen the other. All right, what other questions do we have?
Can we go over 16?
Sure. What is it? Oh, Gina. I'm trying to remember whether I'm assuming that she's not going to be here on Thursdays this year like she wasn't last year. I'm trying to remember whether I knew that or not. Oh well, it's fine. Okay, 16. 3y minus 4z plus x. And we are told up here that w equals negative 3 and x equals 4 and y equals 2.6 and z equals 1/3. So what should we do?
We should replace the variables in the problem
Sounds good. Place the variables with parentheses. What are we going to put right here? 2.6 sounds great. What about this one?
Oh, third.
1/3. What about this one?
4.
What's 3 times 2.6? You have calculators. I don't know, is it? Why you sound confused about it? Oh. Somebody else agree with 7.8?
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
Okay. What is -4 times 1/3? -4/3. I agree. What is 4?
4.
4,
Yeah. 4 is 4. I agree. What's 7.8 minus 4/3 plus 4?
10.4.
What did you say?
10.46.
10.46. Is that what you said? That's cringe. Yeah, your answer's ugly. And so is yours. Because 1/3 does not equal 0.3. That's false. That is 120,000% false. This is math class. This is not science class. You can't be rounding fractions to something stupid. That's not even true. 157 over 15. That's probably still rounded. Somebody give me a not rounded, pretty mixed number answer or an improper fraction. Either way, give it to me. Somebody get it. You can do it. I have faith in your abilities. What did you say the answer was? Oh yeah, that's the answer. Or if you convert that to a mixed number because you felt like it, it's 10 and 7/15. What other questions from your homework, kids?
What was the answer for column 14?
39.6. That one's a decimal because y and x are both decimals, not fractions. That's why they gave you a decimal answer.
I don't know what fractions. I don't know if I got it.
That's crazy. What other questions from this set? I promise Algebra 2 math isn't always this boring. It gets much more exciting. What? 6? Sure. All right, what now?
Parentheses.
Sounds good. What's going to go right there?
0.2.
Pretty sure that's a negative.
-2.
Where's your book? What's going to go right here?
4.2.
What's going to go right here? And this one? -2. What are we going to do first? He asked to an empty room. Yeah, squared sounds great. Let's do that. What's -2 squared?
4.
4. Positive 4, right? Because -2 times -2 is positive 4. That'd be an easy accidental mistake to make. 4 times 4.2 is what? He asked again to an empty room. 16.8. Honestly, talking about myself in the third person this year feels kind of like a vibe. Feels kind of like a thing. I think that might be a thing this year. Who knows? It feels right, at least for today. What do we do now? What's 3 times 3?
9.
9. Wow. What's 2 times -2? -4. Sounds great. Now what? I mean, yeah, I guess if we want to call it that. What's 4 plus 16.8? Apparently like terms. Wow, that was a death stare you gave me. That was so rude. What's 9 minus 4? Now what? Yeah, sure. 20.8 divided by 5 is what?
4.16.
$208 over 50 would be 54 over 25. Is 54 over 25 reduce? I feel like it doesn't.
Calculator.
I feel like 50 over 24 doesn't reduce. Over 24, is it repeating? Or is it just 0.16?
4.16.
That's crazy. Something over 24 is 0.16. Unless I did the math wrong in my head, which is very possible. No, not over 24. What did I say? I don't know. Who knows? 50 over 25. Right? No. 54 over 25. 208 divided by 2 is 54. 50 divided by 2 is 25.
So 104 over 20.
Oh, yeah. Because 208 isn't 50. Yeah, okay. Of course. 100 and what? 4. That equals that? That's crazy. Who'd have thunk it? We could go back to middle school and do it by hand, but that's fine. But this you could have gotten in your head. How did I do that in my head, by the way? Sometimes I throw these chunks out there in Algebra 2 because, you know, if we're not starting to think with some number sense by Algebra 2, we need to like stretch that muscle a little.
You divide by 25.
No, not that. How did I turn this into this? I made a mistake on the top doing it in my brain because I was doing it in my brain. But how did I turn this into this in my brain?
You multiply 5 on both sides.
There's no equals. I'm just turning this into this. I moved the decimal on both of them once, which would turn into 208 over 50, right? You can do that in your head. And then I reduced it because they're both reducible. They're both divisible by 2. 208 divided by 2 is 104. If 50 divided by 2 is 25. You don't have to be able to do that in your head. Don't stress. Calm down. But the more you think about like, oh, this is how this works, the more confident and cool you'll look. So if you want to be cool, play around with numbers in your brain. That was also a joke. Y'all are so serious today. It's funny because like my Algebra 1 class doesn't shut up, like ever. They are loud and they're funny and everything's funny. And y'all are like the most stone-faced of stone-faced, except maybe Bella. Maybe. It depends on the moment. It's crazy. You're like, I don't like mornings. Should make it earlier. That would be fun. Bunch of crybabies. All right, what other questions do you have about this lesson? Sure. Oh, I erased it. I thought earlier about not, I don't need it. Yay. A player's attack percentage. That's funny. There's not any volleyball players in here, are there? No? Right? I'm only looking at the girls because around here that's all that plays volleyball, unfortunately, because volleyball is a great sport. Probably I always said, you know, I was not going to be a coach when I taught at school. I kind of low-key hate coaches. Not anyone specifically. I mean, there are a few that I really don't like. But I don't like coaches. They tend to be really crap teachers or the best teachers you've had in your life. There's no in between with coaches, generally speaking. But, so I was never going to coach anything. But I always said if I was going to if they were like, you have to coach something, I would have coached volleyball because volleyball's fun. Anyway, what was I doing? 10? Great. That's what we got on volleyball. And by we, I mean me. A player's attack percentage, A, is calculated using the formula A equals K minus E all over T. Where K represents the number of kills. Oh, the vocabulary around volleyball is just funny. Anyway, K represents the number of kills, E represents the number of attack errors, including blocks, and T represents the total attacks attempted. Makes it sound way more violent than it is. These sound like words that would describe football or rugby, not volleyball. Anyway. Find the attack percentage given each set of values. So for A, it gives us K equals 22.
Have you ever seen the anime Haikyuu? That explains it. It's violent. It's about volleyball.
Yeah, I figured all of those words. No, I've not seen it. Although I feel like I've seen clips from it. I wouldn't have even been able to tell you until you just said that what the name of the anime was, but I'm pretty sure I've seen volleyball in an anime, and not just in the obligatory beach scenes in like every shonen anime that exists. Anyway, what should we do now? Sounds great.
It's decent.
What's going to go right here? And this one?
11.
And this one?
Give me that 25. It's 35.
Did I copy it down wrong? Bro. That's crazy. We were going to make this, what is the T? T is the total attacks. We were going to make this person less violent than they were. What should we do first? Sounds great. What's 22 minus 11? Now, if this was just like one of the other problems, we could stop there. It's reduced, it's simple, right? Easy peasy. However, what does A represent? A percentage. So we should probably convert that fraction to a percentage, right?
So we divide it, and then we make the decimal.
Yeah. So when you divide it, you end up with pi divided by 10.
Where my calculator go?
0.314. And then when we move the decimal place over twice to get the percentage, we get 31.4%. Which I like whatever I'm trying to say. I don't like basketball. That's a lie. I like volleyball, but I don't know anything about whether that's a good percentage or not. She might be terrible. Who knows? We don't know. And then for the other one, we do the same thing, but with other numbers, right? So we plug in 33, and we would plug in a 9, and then we would divide that by 50. This person makes way more strikes, attacks, than the other. What's 33 minus 9? 24 over 50. If we wanted to leave that as a fraction, we reduce it by 2, and we get 12 over 25, but we really want a percent, so we should divide it. What do we get when we divide it? 0. That's not what this says. 0.48. We move the decimal over twice, and we get 48%. That's a better player. She's rocking it. Or she's not. Again, I don't know what percentage is good. Probably, it could be a boy, actually. Just not likely in Lubbock, Texas. Actually, if you're playing in Lubbock, Texas, you're not playing in Lubbock, Texas. It's one of the reasons why we did, not the only, one of the reasons why we didn't even have volleyball at Lorenzo's, because nobody plays volleyball around here. If you want to play volleyball, if you want to start a volleyball team, you're going to end up traveling for every game.
You're never just going to be in Lubbock.
Which is so weird. I don't understand why volleyball isn't a thing. I mean, is cross country that big of a deal that we have to snuff out volleyball with cross country? In public school, I know homeschoolers have volleyball teams. I know that because they're homeschoolers. And they're used to playing people from like everywhere because they're homeschoolers. Any other questions from this lesson?
Can we go over part A of 24?
Probably. Part A of 24. That formula can be used to convert temperatures in degrees Fahrenheit to degrees Celsius. Room temperatures commonly range from 64 degrees Fahrenheit to 73 degrees Fahrenheit. Determine the room temperature range in degrees Celsius. So the sort of tricky bit about this problem is you have to use the formula twice. So you would plug 64 into Fahrenheit, and then you do the math, subtract it from 32 and times 5 divided by 9, and then you plug 73 in. So you don't plug them both in at the same time. Does that make sense? Good. What other questions from this homework set do we have? Let's take a quiz, shall we? Yeah. Ready to go. You can leave after the quiz if you give me your quiz.